What's up, everybody? My name is Seth, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about my Yamaha Revstar Standard. The Yamaha Revstar is a guitar that's been around in a few different iterations over the years, but this particular iteration was just released in 2022. I remember when these first came out, there was a lot of hype around them and a lot of high-profile YouTubers were demoing these guitars, and that's honestly what first piqued my interest in this particular version of the Revstar. So just full disclosure before going forward, I bought this guitar myself with my own money back in 2022, so this isn't a sponsored video or anything like that. This is just me talking about a guitar that I bought, and spoiler alert, if you noticed the thumbnail of the video, it's a guitar that I actually like quite a bit, so let's talk about it a little bit. Spec-wise, the Revstar has a lot of features that you don't typically see on a guitar in the sub $1,000 range, so that's part of the reason why I got as interested in the Revstars as I did. We've got a mahogany body that's been chambered in a really interesting way with a maple top, mahogany neck with carbon fiber reinforcement. That's not something I've really ever seen on a more budget-friendly guitar. And we've got a rosewood fingerboard with my personal favorite part, stainless steel frets. I'm a huge advocate for stainless steel frets. They are way more wear resistant than nickel frets, and to me they feel a lot better under the fingers. I think more guitars should come with stainless steel frets. As far as the rest of the hardware goes, we've got just a standard set of non-locking tuners that work just fine. I'll probably end up swapping them out at some point for a set of locking tuners just because I prefer quicker string changes, but I haven't had any tuning stability issues or anything like that with these. Same thing goes for the nut. Just a standard plastic nut, nothing to write home about, but it works just fine, and I'll probably leave that as it is. For the bridge, finally, we have a Tune-O-Matic style bridge with a stop tailpiece. For electronics, we have the Yamaha VH5 pickup set, a single volume, a single tone with a push-pull focus switch, and then a 5-position selector switch. In terms of build quality, I would say that this particular Revstar is built incredibly well, especially where it counts. The fretwork is top-notch, all the hardware and electronics work exactly as they're intended to, and I haven't had any issues with stability or anything like that in the entire time that I've had the guitar. I actually haven't had to adjust the neck once, and this guitar has definitely been through some very different temperatures, and really the only setup tweak I ever had to do was when I first got the guitar, I felt the action was a little high, but since then, I haven't touched anything about the setup or changed any of the parts. Everything just works flawlessly, so absolutely rock solid guitar on that front. The only flaw I found on the Revstar is just some small black dots on the body where it looks like there was some minor paint contamination. Again, these spots are really small and they're kind of hard for me to capture on camera, so it's really not something that most people are going to notice unless they're actually playing the guitar, but for a guitar in this price range, I can forgive small finish issues like that, especially when the guitar is as good as it is otherwise. In terms of how the Revstar feels to play, I personally find it very comfortable. The neck definitely has some meat to it, but it's not overly thick or anything like that. I'd say it's probably on the upper end of medium at its thickest point. and the satin finish on the back of the neck is super smooth, so you can slide up and down this neck without any issues whatsoever. Another thing worth mentioning is that thanks to the comfort cuts, contours, and just overall shape of the Revstar body, I find the guitar very comfortable to play whether I'm sitting down or standing up. The thing that surprised me the most about the Revstar though was just how loud and resonant it is, especially when unplugged. And I think a lot of that has to do with how the guitar is chambered. Now, I know I've harped on this in other videos, so if you've seen me talk about guitar resonance in another video, I'm sorry you have to hear me do it again, but I love it when a guitar feels alive in my hands. And this is a guitar that is under $1,000 that feels bigger and more acoustically resonant than other guitars that I've played that are much more expensive than this one. So I just want to shout out how awesome that is, and it's a big reason why I really love playing this guitar. Now, while I definitely love how this guitar plays, I'm a bit more mixed on how it sounds. I think the core sounds of this guitar, so positions 1, 3, and 5 on the selector switch, are actually very good. These pickups have a nice blend of both jangle and fullness to them, so it's almost like they're a cross between a Filtertron style pickup and a slightly more overwound PAF style pickup. As a result of the voice of these pickups, I think that they would really lend themselves well to lots of different types of music. But I personally find myself really liking the way they sound with like pop punk, post-hardcore, all the way up to modern rock. Outside of those core sounds though, I really don't like everything else that the Revstar does. Position 2 and 4 to me just aren't usable. That slightly out of phase sound isn't something that I really like the sound of, so I never find myself in those two positions. And the focus switch was very disappointing just because I liked the idea of a passive boost circuit. The problem is, in practice, whenever you pull the focus switch up, I feel like things get way too dark and muddy sounding, and as a result, I would rather just use a boost pedal, or more accurately for me, an emulation of a boost pedal, so that way I don't have that clarity loss. Even though I'm personally not crazy about all the sounds on offer here, I do gotta commend Yamaha for trying to think outside of the box and offering something different than any of their competitors, at least that I've seen so far. Obviously, that's all just my own personal opinion, so what I'm gonna do now is play some more sound examples for you guys so you can hear what this guitar sounds like and form your own opinions. Let me know what you think about the way this guitar sounds in those comments down below, and when we come back, I'll share my final thoughts on the Yamaha Revstar Standard. Okay, so after everything's said and done, I've had this guitar for about 2 years at this point. What are my thoughts on the Yamaha Revstar Standard? I really love this guitar, even with its minor aesthetic issues and even with the fact that I don't really care for all the sounds on offer. I still think overall this is a fantastic guitar. I'd honestly go as far as to say this is probably my favorite guitar in the sub $1,000 price range. Now, I'm someone who's a huge fan of Les Pauls and other similar styles of guitar, so the Revstar feels very familiar to me, but the modern features that the Revstar has, like the stainless steel frets, the satin neck, the cutaways, all that stuff helps make it feel distinct from those styles of guitar. Even though I'm someone who is fortunate enough to own quite a few very nice guitars from other brands, I still think this Yamaha Revstar is good enough to hold its own against those, at least in terms of how much I enjoy playing it. After owning this guitar for 2 years, I can confidently say that I'm a pretty big fan of the Yamaha Revstar, and owning this guitar has made me very interested in this series as a whole. I'd love to try the P90 version. I think it sounds really good in all the sound clips I hear, and I'd also love to try the Japanese-made Pro version of the Revstar just to see how it compares to this one. Hopefully Yamaha continues making these and continues to iterate on the Revstar platform, because I think this is a really awesome guitar for the money. I just personally would like to see some more colors, and preferably ones without the whole racing stripe thing, but again, that's just personal preference. And that's pretty much everything I have to say about the Yamaha Revstar. Thank you guys so much for watching. I always appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button if you enjoyed the video. Those two things really help the channel and the video a lot. If you are interested, I'm going to have links to my Patreon where you can get the demo song, as well as links to all the other social media accounts if you're interested in following me on those platforms as well. Until next time, everybody, take care, and I hope to see you all again soon.